Ghayath, thank you so much for your invitation to make interview with you. And my first question is about Syria and what happened in Syria. It was a revolution, yes?
Yeah.
Would you describe how did it start?
Mm-hmm. It all start when Imam suicide in Tunisia and the Arab Spring began to be like a domino from country to country. We were not sure that it will happen in Syria that time because the history, because the Syrian like between the Arabic country was Syria is the only country make a revolution before 1979. And I can't call it a real revolution because it was led by the Islam Brotherhood. And its end in around 1982 or 1983 by the father, Al-Assad, the father of Bashar Al-Assad. He destroyed Hama city and some small areas in Idlib and Aleppo, and he went against them. So from that experience I was thinking that the Syrian people learned the lessons from Assad, that if you try to make any revolution, you will be dead. Because in that time, the fighters who was in Hama city was around 600 people, and Assad could arrest them or could kill them. But instead of that, he destroyed the city, the whole city. It's like a kind of revenge or a message he sent it to the people. So in that time, I was not sure that the Syrian people are brave enough, this is my thought, to do it, or they will be thinking a lot before they do it. But the thing is not like that. They are one of the most brave people in the world. And then they know exactly how it will be. And they know that Assad will not give up. He will kill most of the people he can. I think he can kill all the Syrian too, and he will stay alone. But they didn't know in that time that the war would be silent. And no one can imagine in that moment that the world will let the Syrian people in this situation under bombing and killing and systematic rape and systematic genocide and like this. So in that time I was really surprised when I saw the people began to demonstrate in this small city Daraa, where my mother came from, because the disappearance of this 16 child. They wrote some things in the walls, like Assad should go and like this, and then the security took them, and it's really strange and weird how you could arrest children. And then the people asked about their children, they didn't got any answer, even they got rude answers, and then the revolution began. And then the regime, he understand that he make mistakes, so he sent back the children, not all of them. He sent 15 back. There's one of them, I think he didn't came until now. And the people find the children without knives. So, what kind of regime is this? Was torturing children, most of them between 13, 14 and 16. So in that moment, the Syrian people, exactly the people of this city, they understand that this is the regime, they should not be exist anymore. And they began it. And from city to city, as you see. It was peaceful for 8 months. Peaceful from our side, I mean the Syrian people. But it was not peaceful from Assad's side, because he was using the snipers and the killing. And I think thousands of people killed in these first 8 months.
So Assad was a dictator. Is a dictator.
No,
Assad is
I can't put him with the dictator. He's worse. Dictator, you put Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Ceausescu, Joseph Stalin, Pinochet. These people, you could put them with the dictatorship. Assad is different. We need to create a new name, new word to describe him and his father. Dictators, they kill their own people and they lead country by iron hand. And they kill the people in classic way, but they didn't destroy the history of their own country. It's the opposite. They are proud. They are so national and proud of their own history. Mussolini, he wanted to make Italy great like Rome before. He proud of the Italian. He will not kill the Italian. Adolf Hitler, he's like stupid, fucked up mind, I don't know, but he's proud of the Aryan race, you understand me? So this is the classic dictatorship. Assad is not like that. Assad, when I told you the Islam Brotherhood tried to negotiate with him for the power, he destroyed a city from his country, the whole city, 1982. And he didn't let anyone alive, the people who were still alive, the people who ran away from the city, only. He killed everything. And there is no another example in the history. If you go back to the history, you find very empty area until you arrive to Nero, when he make a fire in Rome. In 3 days, I think the fire took or something. He was crazy and mad and drunk. And during all this period in the history, you will not find any person. He destroyed his own people. You understand me? Some people say for me, Guernica, Franco. No, the Nazi bombed Guernica. It was for 3 hours, so not Franco. And some people say Saddam Hussein about Halabja. Yes, Saddam Hussein, he bombed this village in the borders between Iran and Iraq by chemicals. He killed 5,000. But what I mean, he killed the people, Saddam Hussein. He didn't destroy the city. The gas didn't destroy. Assad, he destroyed the city, the whole city. It took 28 days to destroy it. And then his son, he destroyed more than 400 cities. And many of them like in the size of Paris or size of Bruxelles, you understand me? So they are really special people in the history. You will not find anything like that. And between me and you, the history, check it. If you didn't take me serious, they are so special. I really can't call them dictators. I always think to create a new word for this family. And I think if they succeed to stop the Syrian revolution, the son of Bashar Al-Assad, he will be our dictator. And he will kill our children in the same way, and he will destroy Syria again. Because the father he did, the son is dead, and then in the future, his son is named Hafid, like the grandfather. So it's really family will not leave the power. And I think they will try to kill all of us. And then Assad will be alone in the top of this big genocide.
So in any case, Assad would destroy and kill everybody and destroy.
This is his mind. He will be the last one.
So
he's in Syria. This is their mentality.
He's like maniac. He would like only to kill and destroy.
Look to his eyes when he make the interviews, and you see that he didn't make speech for the Syrian. Nothing. He's not interested to speak to the Syrian. He makes speech in English to the European, mostly to European newspaper, American newspaper. So he didn't speak with his people. He speaks to you, to the people in the West. And you see him when he speaks so relaxed. And what about the bombing in Syria? Syria? We have no bombing in Syria. He's a psychopath, I think. The difference between the dictatorship and Assad, that dictatorship, they kill you. And they say, we kill you. Gaddafi, he killed the Libyan people, and he said, yes, I killed the people in Libya, and I will continue. All people do that. Joseph Stalin the same. Assad, he killed the Syrian, and he showed a lamb face to the West. He denied. And this is the worst in the case, because he made the people suspicious about all the things. Is it true what he say? Is it true what the Syrian people say? And he destroyed you in a way that even in your imagination you didn't believe it. So it became so heavy to believe it. How somebody could destroy more than 400 cities and bomb them more than for 4 years? No one will believe that. Why the world is silent towards this? Why there is no reaction, no fly zone, something stopping this killing? So unbelievable. This is his way. He made the things so heavy, unbelievable, so the people couldn't believe it.
A revolution started. What kind of people fight against him?
The people who began to fight later.
Yes.
Mhm. After 8 months of the peaceful demonstration, we arrived to a moment that Assad, he began to bomb homes. So we understand in that moment he's not only shooting by snipers to the demonstration and arrested the people and killed them under torture. He began new things. In that time he didn't use the helicopters. He was not sure if he's allowed from the world or like this. So the first he began to bomb homes by mortars, rockets and missiles. You understand me? And in that moment we understand that he exactly do as his father did in Hama. So he's not afraid from anything and he will go back. He will go on this.
So
in that moment, after 7-8 months, I remember there is one soldier of the Syrian army. He ran away from the army and he filmed that and he put it in the YouTube. He say, I am my name, he say his name. I ran away from the army because I don't want to kill the Syrian. The days after began some another people escape because they didn't want to kill. In these 2 months, a lot of people began to be even high positions. They began to run away. During the end of these 2 months, there is a man who ran away with his weapons. So instead of he ran away from the army, he ran away and he took his Kalashnikov with him. And he said, if these people come to my home to take me, I will defend myself. And in that moment, the people began to bring any kind of weapons they can, knife, anything, small gun, hunt gun, in homes. And they say, if the Syrian security come, we will defend ourselves. And it began like this, began more and more, and then big amount of people ran away from the Syrian army and they created the Free Army. And that's it. But they never attack. It take months, they never attack. They was defending the city under bombing and they didn't let Assad tanks enter the city. And after that, during the fight, they began to win the weapons. I don't know if you know, but the United States make a block of selling weapons to the Free Army. So the only way to have weapons is to steal from the Syrian army or to buy these non-heavy weapons from the black market. Because even in the black market, it's impossible to buy any anti-tank or anti-helicopters or anti-strike, because the United States is clear that there is a block. The Syrian people not allowed to have anti-tanks or anti-helicopters. So the Syrian people not allowed to make fly zone. And the United Nations, the Security Council, they didn't make fly zone. So they let the situation okay that Assad could bomb the city. The Syrian, they didn't have any rockets to make fly zone, and they didn't make fly zone. So Assad could finish this. And until now, we not allow as a Syrian to have rockets to make fly zone, and the world didn't want to make fly zone. So could Assad got the chance, maybe he will finish this. And United Nations, 7 or 8 months or 1 year, I'm not sure yet, they decided to stop counting the killing in Syria. For the first time in history, I hear something like this. So I remember a man, he showed in a conference and he said United Nations decided today to stop counting the deaths in Syria. So Assad was so happy, and he make the amount from 150 every day to 300-400, because they give him the green light that no one will count, you can kill. And even when the European Union tried to take Assad to the Hague, to the criminal court in The Hague, Sweden voted against the decision, and the decision was cancelled. It was in March 2013. So Sweden saving him, that he can go to the criminal court. United Nations stop counting the death. America make block that the Syrian army will not have any rockets, and they refused to make fly zone. And then they sent for him the real message: you're not allowed to use the chemical. The chemical is red light. And they repeat it until he understands that I can kill the Syrian in all the way, all the classic way: torture, bombing, sniper, anything, but not chemical. So then they give him the real red light, that kill the Syrian however you like, but you can't use the chemicals because we are afraid that some terrorists will have them, and then they will use them for something else.
And he used it.
He used it several times in very small amounts. He used it around 90 to 100 times, but he used a small amount. Once in, I think in August 2013, he used a big one in the suburb of Damascus. So he used it more, and after that he used it several times. And he still used the chlorine. Because the chlorine for the West and for the American is not very, very heavy gas, like strong. So they didn't care a lot. So he didn't use the sarin anymore. He used it in some small areas. He didn't use the VX, he didn't use the cyanide, he didn't use the mustard, but he used the phosphor and the chlorine. So he know exactly how the West thinking. Yeah, but he used it more than 100 times. One of them was little big, when he attacked the suburb of Damascus, and he killed this 1,400, the first moment.
So you accused the West that the West is in silent. Yes?
No. The West is taking part of killing the Syrian, because how they could make, like Gaddafi, the son of Gaddafi, he say I will attack Benghazi. After 1 hour they make a fly zone. 1 hour.
So West supports Assad.
I don't know. West is taking part of killing the Syrian. I didn't say support Assad.
In what way?
Syrian people not allowed to defend themselves. The Security Council will not defend them. No one will take Assad to the criminal court, and we will stop counting the death. And Assad is relaxed to do what he wants, even if he is now in 2015 bombing more than 400 cities full of civilians with heavy bomb, more than 500 kilo TNT every day.
And how many people and how many Syrians are killed now?
During to the report?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. This number, no one can know it. It's like this: you can count the names that disappear. With the people you count them. The people we count them as dead, and we have the body, and the people witness to that. And the report is more than 230,000. This that you have the body and you put it in the grave and you got a number and everything. The people who disappear, and they didn't come back, and no one witnessed them in the prison. So some people went to prison and went out. No news about them. It's a huge number. 3-4 times more the number we say in the report.
And you decided to escape, to leave?
I'm outside this question. I'm speaking for you about the revolution because you asked me. I left Syria, escaped in 2008. So 3 years before the Syrian revolution began. But my family live there, I'm from there, and like this. But in fact, I didn't do anything to the Syrian revolution. Syrian revolution happened in Syria, not in Europe. But I'm proud to be, if you want to count me part of it, I'm proud to hear that. But most of the people who make the Syrian revolution, they are not exist anymore. Assad, he killed all of them. All the peaceful people, activists, all of them did.
I'm really sad to see some news which are devoted to refugees from Syria, that Europe stopped them or closed borders and try to fight against refugees. by army,
Mm.
they are not enemies. These people try to save their lives, not to conquer their states, not to fight against government authorities, people, but I see that some European countries don't understand it, and started fight against refugees,
But
peaceful people.
But this is something not in you. Maybe it's more clear right now because the amount of the people who arrive may be a little bigger. But the people in any place in the world, when somebody tried to come as a refugee to their country, they became a little suspicious about the things and they forgot that they did the same before. So the European people, they have the biggest amount of immigrant themselves. They were the biggest amount of immigrant in the history. So if we will count the immigrant in the world, we will find the European is the biggest. More than 85% of the immigrant in the world, they are European. They went to the United States, to the New World in America, like this. And not only for war. Like you hear sometimes in Europe, they say, oh, if they came for war, it's okay, but if they came for economic situation, they are not welcome. 80% of the European immigrants, they went outside Europe because they were starving to death from hunger.
Yes, economical reasons.
50% of Ireland population, they went to the state. You understand? At least I know from the Sweden where I live, there's 1 million or more. They left to the United States because there was no food. These people, they forgot that this happened for them. They forgot that every person in the moment, he finds his children under bombing or under occupation or any reason. He has the right to save his family and go. And these people who are against the refugee now, they will be refugee one day. As I understand the world, it's a really stupid world. And there is no guarantee for anything. And I promise you that there is no guarantee for anything.
Of course.
At any moment, could we have a war or earthquake or a volcano or I don't know, viruses, and we need to be refugee. And these people who stand against the refugee from Syria or Afghan or I don't know, in this moment, the first things they will do in the moment they have dangerous surrounded their family, they will take their family and they will run away. So I think this is not new, it's happened always like that. It's a human mentality.
Yes, and I guess that Europeans, the most of Europeans understand it. And in Antwerp, you know, Red Line Star
Yes,
Museum
yes.
Exists. It's a unique museum. It's a museum of history of immigration.
Exactly.
So they understand, but
there is no future for a country where the people have the same race. I believe in that. The future is for the cosmopolitic society, the multicultural. I see the things like this.
that refugees now it's some kind of challenge to the states, to the European states, for human values.
Mm.
Yes, moral values.
Yes, exactly.
And
This is the fear, you can see it inside the people. Somebody will share the things with us. They don't want, but they will not succeed. The future is not like that. Forgot the history. The future, the things will be different. The future is only for the cosmopolitic society. And these people who are blah 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 blah, they will disappear. We are human. And we will succeed to take this planet for all of us.
Absolutely.
You will be citizens. You pay tax, you are a citizen, and that's it. Doesn't matter what is your color, what is your background, what is your religion. In the end, the world will understand that. And then they will speak about these dark days when the world was divided, the people during to their colors or backgrounds or like language, and we will speak about it as racist history.
Absolutely. What should do with Syria, with
It's late now.
Assad?
It's late. They let him destroy Syria. I didn't got it. Why they let them bomb Syria for 5 years and all the cities destroyed. 9 million refugees inside Syria without houses and 4 million outside Syria. For which reason? Why they didn't let him leave the power, and that's it. Before we got Al-Nusra, before we got ISIS, before we got the Free Army. Why we should got all this? Before we got the refugee go, Syrian people never traveled. Did you meet any Syrian people before? They were so proud of leaving their country and their culture. They were living, so little people traveled. These Syrian people should not be refugees. And ISIS should not be exist. And before that, Nusra should not be exist. And before that, the Free Army should not be exist. Assad should leave the power in 1 week. People was demonstrated against him, and he should leave the power. That's it. Now you ask me what they should do? Nothing. It's late. So they killed the Syrian people. That's it. They destroyed the country. The silent of the world let Assad do what he wants. I didn't speak about Putin and Iran and North Korea and Venezuela because these people, they are the side of Assad. I'm speaking about the rest. So I know that Putin is sending money and weapons all the time, and Hezbollah sending soldiers, and Iran sending money and weapons and soldiers. But this is I know this will happen. This is the Assad side. What made me suspicious about myself and the world and everything around me when I saw the West, who should be against this dictatorship, is somehow helping him. They send the money to Assad. They say the only government we have in this country is Assad, and they give him the money, and he takes this money to buy weapons. And if they send food, they give it to Assad government. So they let Assad survive.
Please name their organization.
How many organizations we have in the world helping? 1 or 2? They are involved in this. So I have no need to name them.
You mean United Nations?
I say exactly like what I said. All the organizations who help or try to help the Syrian people, selling all things and take the money and send it to the Syrian, or bring food and clothes and send it to Syria, they give it to the Assad regime. Even if they bought a new ambulance or something, they give it to Assad regime. Because they say it's the only government or in Syria, it's Assad regime.
What is the role of ISIS in this conflict, in this war?
I think ISIS is really helping Assad. He's cleaning his image. Because Assad is like, he understands in the moment that ISIS became big in the image of what going on in Syria, people began to think, oh, we should rethink about that Assad should leave the power. Maybe we should negotiate with him. So he was so clever by playing this. ISIS, it came in a moment. Assad, he was speaking like this, me or the terrorist, all the time. I speak about before ISIS. And United States in that time, they put Al-Nusra in the list of terrorists. Because Al-Nusra is part of Al-Qaeda. And Assad was relaxed, and he all the time, he and his regime was saying in all the media, if we leave the power, Al-Nusra and Al-Qaeda will lead the country. And they play this because they understand that the West is really affected by the Islamophobia and all these things. And then one day, the United States say something like this, that if al-Nusra makes some change in this and that, and if they say we are outside Al-Qaeda, United States thinking to take them outside the list of the terrorists. And then Assad was afraid. He can't make the West afraid anymore. What if al-Nusra accepted that and they are outside of the list of terrorists? And then in some days after that, we got ISIS.
Okay, but
Who they are, I don't know.
But Assad does not fight against ISIS.
No, at all. Not even once. Assad fight against Al-Qaeda and against the Free Army because they fight him. So Assad, he bombed the civilians, he bombed the Free Army, and he bombed al-Nusra. And the Free Army and al-Nusra separated. They fight back. ISIS didn't attack the city where there is Assad regime. They attack only the city that liberated by the Free Army. And Assad, he bombed the whole country, but not the areas where there is ISIS. I don't know how to explain this, but this is how it is. Some cities was under bombing of Assad until the moment ISIS took it, and then bombing stopped. Not like by chance. Many examples. Assad is bombing this village or town for 2 years, and then ISIS came and they occupied it, took it back from the revolution. After 30 minutes, no bombing, until now. Why he will bomb them? If they are the only reason that he is safe, why he will kill the person who make him safe? If he kill these people, then what he will say to the West? What is the need of me? Now he's saying me or ISIS. And if ISIS disappear, then what? Sure, he will not bomb them.
Free Army.
The Free Army, they are the Syrian people. Not like ISIS. ISIS, they are not from Syria. You can hear the accent. The Free Army is Syrian people. Like you and me, students, workers. They lost their families, their mothers, their fathers, their houses, and they decided to not die, to defend themselves. This Free Army is something completely different. The Free Army is the people who run away from the army, and the people who lost everything and they decided to not die, to fight for the freedom. This is another completely question. Syrian people mixed, and everyone not in his city, in another city, because they lost their houses, they lost their cities. There is no place to be in even. So the Syrian Free Army is something else really. ISIS, you can hear the accent. We are 22 Arab country. We have different accents. So during to the videos I saw, me like you, I have not been there. I watch videos from YouTube. I can say that more than 70 to 80% of the accent is Tunisian. So Tunisia is number one. And then you find Algerian, Moroccan, something like this. After many levels, you find the Saudi Arabia, but it's not like the Western say. So no, so little that I hear the Saudi Arabian accent. But some little European, they are not Arab. But mostly it's Tunisian. And I think it's systematic. So somebody cleaned Tunisia from the terrorists. You understand? He saved his country by sending these people. Exactly like what happened in Europe. So for example, if you call the security now, in any European country, and you say for them, Muhammad X, he's going to Brussels airport now and he will fly to Turkey at 10:30 evening because he will go to be part of ISIS. Do you think they will arrest him? That's happened in Sweden. People call the security several times about people. No. This is what we call it, washing Europe. Let all these people go to Syria. 80% of them will die. So Europe will lose 80% of the terrorists. 20% they will come back. We have reason to arrest them. They were in Syria. So you arrested them because they were in Syria. So you lose 80% and you arrested 20%. And all the European countries involved in this.
Okay.
Washing Europe.
Washing Europe.
Yeah. But to try this, I have 3 examples happen from people called the security. And the security didn't do anything. They let these people go to Turkey. And they can read in the file of them that they have did a lot of things before. They are real terrorists. And they are not going to Turkey as a tourist.
It's good politics for Europe.
Yeah, it's cleaning Europe. What you feel better than you have 600 terrorists, 450 of them died in Syria. Nothing better than this. Okay. What will happen in Syria, it's not important.